Welcome back to the Everyday Armor podcast. Today I have a very special guest. I have my fiance who is here to talk all things football. And just for reference, he is on like 4 fantasy teams. When there is a football game to be watched, it is on somewhere, whether that is like currently we are sitting in our office and also a podcast studio. And I'm looking at a game that is on his computer. They're on like every screen, they're on iPads, like big football household here. So we're here to explain to you all things football and just like how to get more into the season if you sometimes have like a hard time with it or you get bored watching all the games. So welcome to the podcast. Thank you for coming on to help us. Of course. So let's go ahead and just start with like basic general rundown of like how do you play football? Like if somebody's watching the screen, they're like, what the fuck is going on here? Like I just see like lots of boys with helmets and like tight pants. Like what's going on?
So you basically have two teams. You have an offense and a defense. It can always switch, but the offense is trying to go into the other side of the field, into the end zone, and the defense is trying to hold them. Now, if the offense goes and doesn't make it, they can either kick a field goal or kick a punt, and then in that case, the defensive team will now be on the offense and going the other way, and it's kind of a back and forth.
Okay. So basically, like, you're trying to get to the end of the field, and like, what is that process? Trying to get a touchdown.
Trying to get a touchdown. I mean, you got to get first downs, multiple first downs, get completions. So completions of first downs. You have first and 10, second and 10, third and 10, fourth and 10.
And what does that mean?
So first down is first and 10. Usually, if you score 4 yards, then it would be second and 6, which is second down and 6 yards to go. Then your next play is second or third down and 3. Then you have one more play, and then it comes to fourth down. So you're 4th and 3, nothing happens. Then you could either kick if you're close enough, or you would punt it away, and the defensive team would receive the ball and now be on offense.
Okay, so basically, you're trying to make it into the end zone, and you have 4 chances to get 10 yards. So if you don't achieve those 10 yards, or sometimes there's penalties, right, where they get set back even more. So maybe they're like trying to get now 15 yards, and they have 4 tries to do so. But then if you get to like your 4th attempt, you don't want to not make your 10 yards and be closer to the other team's end zone when they pick up the ball and they're on offense. That's when you punt it, correct?
Yes, and it's kind of like field management too. I mean, you want to punt the ball so then the ball's away from your end zone, because if you give the defense the ball on your side of the field, then they can go ahead and score. Now, mind you, the 10 increments are is 100 yards. So first and 10, second and 10, third and 10, whatever. Once you get past those 10 yards, whether first or second down, then it goes on to the next 10 yards until you get down to the touchdown.
Perfect. And what are the different ways you can score points?
So you can score points. There's a safety, which, you tackle the offense. If you're defense and you're on the offense and the defense tackles offense in the other end zone, that is safety for 2 points. You can score a touchdown for 6 points. You have the extra point where you're kicking it after the touchdown, which is for 1 point. You're going for 2. If you score a touchdown, you want to go for 2 instead of kicking the field goal. Basically, you run another play to try to get in the end zone. Defensive plays, offensive plays, you can kind of score anywhere.
Perfect. And then you have like field goals if you're like typically like under 60 yards from your end zone,
Yeah.
whatever, then you kick the field goal and you can get 3 points, right?
Yep.
Perfect. So we kind of understand like basics of the game. So it's not just, people in like tight pants running around the field. So now we kind of understand how we can get points. We understand what's happening in a game. Now explain to me what exactly is fantasy, because I'm sure all the girls have heard, or like they're dating somebody, maybe they have brothers, dads, people play fantasy. What exactly is that?
Well, from your perspective, maybe just a bunch of guys just getting together and having a good time. But no, so fantasy football is something usually you'll get. I mean, in our case, I'm in multiple leagues, but you can get a family league, you can get friend league, whatever. But it's basically like little league baseball or little league soccer or anything like that. When you had your dad or your mom coach, they had to create a team, you would go and you would have tryouts, and then somebody would pick a team, and that was your team for the year. So in this case, everything's done online, and you basically have 11. I think it's 11 spots depending on the league, and you draft per position every player you want. So you draft your quarterbacks, your receivers, your running back, your tight end, your defense, even your kicker. Can't forget the kickers. And you basically accumulate points over that week, and whoever has the most points in the matchup wins. So basically, you draft a team, and you're playing against your friends or family every week.
So we have a league with my family, and this is like my grandma, my dad, my mom, my sister's boyfriend, us, and then like my second, third cousin, whatever. She's like a cousin aunt. So we're all playing against each other. My grandma has like one. I think this is her first week losing. I
Yeah,
think.
she's 4-1.
Yeah, my grandma's like kicking everybody's ass in fantasy, but it's a lot of fun because it really does help you. First of all, like learn players and other teams, but then it helps you stay roped into all the other games. Because I feel like for me, like even last year, so we live in Vegas, so we also like we'll bet on the games. And last year I started doing that, and probably this was you trying to like, okay, let's like make her a little bit invested in these games. Yeah, no, but fantasy I feel like is even better. Like even though there's not like weekly money that I'm betting, my dad and I also like bet on games with you, but like even this keeps me even more involved because first of all, I'm a very competitive person, but like you're watching every single game, you're watching your specific players, and then when you're up against people, especially like in family, I think feel like it's a lot of fun. But I think that that's like one of like the best ways to kind of get like roped back in for anybody that doesn't understand because I feel like one thing that was confusing for me was like the order in which you draft the players and like what positions. So what positions should you start with when you're first drafting like your fantasy team?
I mean, there's no right answer, but in my opinion, a lot of people do quarterbacks early, and I think more back in the day, quarterbacks went early. It also depends what kind of league you're in.
So quarterbacks typically go later.
For me personally, I would go quarterbacks later, maybe
Okay.
round 5, 6, or 7. In the first round or the second round, you want your wide receiver. If it's a PPR league or points per reception, so if that's every time somebody catches somebody, I think it's points per reception. Every time somebody catches it, you get 1 point automatically plus the yardage. So like receivers are good, running backs are good. Always want to grab those. You might grab 2 or 3 running backs and receivers before you even think about another position. Then
Okay.
you're going to probably want to look into tight end and quarterback after that, more in later rounds, maybe around 5, 6, 7, 8. And then after that, you might want to get some fill-in backups. And then probably the last player you're ever going to draft is your kicker and your defense, probably the last two in the last 2 rounds.
Okay. And then there's also bye weeks you have to factor in. Can you
Mm-hmm.
explain that a little bit?
Yeah, so every team has a bye week, and there's 17 games in a football season. So in fantasy, you have, I don't think it's 17 weeks. I think it's 12 or 13 weeks plus the extra weeks are playoffs. So in this case, you have, the Bears. If you have Caleb Williams as your starting quarterback, which he went to USC first round overall pick last year, if he was your quarterback and he didn't have a game that week,
Subtle flex.
well, I don't know. He's a big name. They might not know, so I want to make sure people understand. But if he's not playing week 5 and the Bears aren't playing and you have Caleb Williams as your quarterback, that's where you need to revert to your backups or you need to go and find somebody in the open market. Open market's just like, I don't know, every player in the league basically. And you can go to the players and then you can go pick up a player. So, hey, CJ Stroud's not playing this week, or he's playing this week and Caleb's not. I'll go pick up CJ Stroud.
I think you literally just explained like two of the quarterbacks that I have. I think I have Caleb Williams.
Oh, I don't know. I know you have Caleb
That's so
Williams,
funny.
but it just came up to my mind. So.
Yeah. So basically, like you want to factor in, like you don't want all of your wide receivers to have the same bye week because then you don't have any to pick from. Like on
Unless
your
you want
bench.
to lose.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, maybe
So
you could do
maybe I
that.
would instruct people. Honestly, I feel like even like next year, like I think this would be a fun thing to do with my girlfriends. Like get people roped in, especially all of us that have like husbands, fiancés, boyfriends that like all are in fantasy teams because I feel like it makes it a lot of fun. And just when do you so I know for ours, like you can switch people out like right before the game that they play, right? And there's some that you can't. Is that true?
Some leagues, yes. So it depends how the league's designed, but majority of the leagues you should be able to do it. So like Thursday, if somebody's playing Thursday and that Thursday night's game is starting, you have to put your players in before that. But the games for Sunday, you don't have to adjust your players until Sunday morning. But as
Okay.
soon as the game starts is when basically you have no more time.
So now, if you have your fantasy team, right, and you have all your players, sometimes, we run up against this issue here where you don't have enough screens to watch all the games, which then, comes in the iPads, the computers. Yeah. So let's say for somebody that does start a fantasy team and like they don't want to pay for the like astronomical expenses to have all the games, what is like the best thing to do to still be able to go watch all your players? Like where can you go? What are they playing the games? Like what's like the best plan of attack?
So not everyone's going to be able to watch every game. I mean, even us, you could have 4 screens on the TV, but you can't see every single game at once. So the best thing is to go to like ESPN.com, go to the NFL section. And then you can go to the games. So now if it's a game that's already been played, you can go to the box score, or if it's a game being played, you can go to the box score and it will show all the stats of every single player. Who's got catches, who's got balls thrown to them and didn't catch, how many receiving yards, how many throwing yards, how many touchdowns. So basically ESPN app is very useful in fantasy. And you can also go on Google and just type in, hey, I have these players or I want these players. What are the best players to get in fantasy for that week? Or, Google or ChatGPT now in this day and age.
We'll go to that's the one good thing with living in Vegas. We can go to the sports book and watch a ton of the games, or there's so many different bars that have a million screens. We were just in Tempe. Where did we go?
We went to Barstool Sportsbook.
Yes. Yeah, that was
Sports
so much
bar,
fun.
sorry, not a sports book, misleading there.
Yeah, sports bar. It was so much fun though, because again, normally I'm just into the Seahawks games, or I'm well, depending on how the Rams and the Seahawks are measuring up, maybe I like the Rams games to make sure they lose. But he's a big Rams fan. But now, it's fun to watch all the games and you have a lot more invested. What can you only bet on games in Vegas?
Yeah, Vegas, you could do fantasy draft picks, I think in other states online.
Okay.
But yeah, gambling's, kind of in 30, 40 states now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it just kind of depends. Every state's different. Some of them you can only bet online. Some of them you can't bet online. Some you have to, I think Washington, you have to go into the specific casino and actually bet there. You can't bet online.
Okay. And see, betting I feel makes it a lot of fun also, because last year I think you gave me $50. I bet on a UFC fight. I won that. Yeah, Patty the Batty. He won. And then from there I started placing parlays, which is when you do multiple teams, right? And you can have different types of parlays.
Yeah,
Right?
you could do different parlays, but in this case, you were doing just straight up parlays, moneyline parlays.
And what is moneyline?
Moneyline is straight up. So Chiefs versus the Bills, Chiefs win. That's if the Chiefs win, no matter what, you win. That is moneyline.
I like moneyline. I don't understand the other shit. What exactly is the stuff that you do?
So there's also spreads. So now, okay, you take the Chiefs.
I love how your eyes light up when you talk about this.
Oh my God. You take the Chiefs and the Bills, and the Chiefs are probably at home. Usually at home, everyone is given 3 points.
Mm-hmm.
That's just kind of your thing. So instead of betting, Chiefs money line, just Chiefs to win, now you have to bet them Chiefs -3, and they have to win by 3 or more. If they win by 3,
so if you're betting -3, they have to win by 3 or more.
Yes.
Okay.
And if it's +3, you have to lose by 3 or less.
Okay.
So yes, so if the Chiefs win by 3, you don't win, you don't lose, you just get your money back. But if the Chiefs win by 4, you get a win. And if the Chiefs win by 2 or less or lose, you lose.
See, that's why I don't worry about that, because that just feels like a lot to pay attention to.
But you do pay the extra price. If you're paying, the money line might be -150, where that's $150 to win 100. Now, if you take Chiefs -3, it's -110. Yeah. It's Chiefs -110, so you put $110 to win 100.
Yeah, well, his team actually really fucked me this week, because I think the Rams were -400.
Yeah, the Rams were probably one of the two biggest upsets of the year.
No, I told my dad, I was like, this is a shoe and we're totally gonna win. So we put $30 in the parlay. Normally we'll do 10 or 15 just to keep it fun, but not lose a ton of money in 1 week. Well, the Rams, they just really did go ahead and fuck me with that bet. And then that was the first game too. So then my whole parlay was screwed after that.
I asked you tonight, I said, what was your play in the game? Did you have anybody in the game? And you said, nope, the Rams fucked me.
Actually, I don't even think I had anything for this game though, because I don't think there was I take all the ones that are -400 or.
She's the one you have to put a house down just to win $100.
Yeah, exactly. But it's so insanity. Last year I won $850.
That is a true story.
I did really well.
That is no help. I didn't even help you. You just kind of picked.
Yeah, no, that's very true. You did it first, but then I was I'm pretty much a pro, and I'm winning every week, so I keep doing this by myself. No, then you would help me, and then I'd lose. That's what would happen. We went to Pop Stroke. It's putt golf, and I remember, I want to say, I forget what, I think it was an occasion we went for, whatever. But it's a really cool spot. If you ever come to Vegas, it's outdoor putt, and there's 2 different courses, and then they have a bunch of screens. They have cornhole, they have food, drinks, super fun. And even when it's really hot out, they have misters, and they have towels that you can grab and stuff. So we went to go do Pop Stroke, and we were watching the game simultaneously. I won my parlay that day as well. And I got 2 hole-in-ones when we were playing putt-putt, and I kicked your butt at putt-putt.
And you did.
We, like, just we love being competitive. It's a lot of
Yes.
fun. But with fantasy, like, I truly think it is probably the thing that's gotten me most into the games, and it does make it fun where, like, I actually look forward to it, and even when I would travel, like, last year, if I'd bet on the games, like, I wouldn't really care to watch them. But now I'm actually here to watch the entire game and be invested throughout the game, which is, like, actually why we're recording this at 10 o'clock at night because we were just watching the Chiefs game. Because it's well, my mom, I think she
Your
was
mom had Xavier Worthy, and she was supposed to beat you this week, but you came back and beat her, and Xavier Worthy didn't have enough points to beat her, so you won.
yes, and my mom was supposed to beat me this week, and my dad, so both my parents, like, hadn't won at all. So last week, I helped my dad get his team, like, all squared away, me, like, not really, it's like blind leading the blind. So I helped my dad get all squared away, and I was competing with him that week, and I was like, "Oh, I don't want this to be, like, so sad," and I just, like, completely blew him out of the water. Well, I helped him so much that he came back and kicked my ass last week.
That loss.
I was so frustrated. So then this week, my mom when I was helping my dad, I was like, "Oh, dad," because he needed wide receivers. I was like, "You should pick up Xavier Worthy because he was injured." And my mom's all listening. I was like, "Actually, you know what? Maybe I'll pick him up." And so I'm talking about this. My mom goes, "Worthy, you said?" And I was like, "Yeah." She goes, "Oh, got him." I was like, "You little fucker." So she's got him on her team. And he did really, I think he did really well last week.
And Worthy
Yeah, I think he did pretty good.
just
He did
played.
more than like he was expected last week though.
No. Did he play last week?
Yeah, I think he played last week,
Oh
'cause that's when
yeah.
she picked him up. And so then this week I was a little bit worried, but that's okay. I still ended up beating her. So I tried to make sure with this game. But I think what can help a fantasy team be, like, more exciting? Like, get people, like, invested in it.
No injuries. I mean, if these players didn't get injured, it'd be a lot better. A lot of people are. I already hear it now. We have probably 50 plus injuries in the NFL right now, and people are already upset. Like my fantasy team's done. You have 3 guys on your fantasy team that are hurt, and they're 3 good guys. It's doesn't make it exciting. Makes it kind of dumb.
Mhm. Well, how can, like, even, like, if you're 'cause you run a league, right? How can you, like, keep it so everybody in the league is, like, invested the entire time and it, like, makes it more fun?
Money. I mean, that's all it takes is
Doing money,
money.
right?
You put money on anything, people are going to pay attention.
Have you ever done, like, the trips not that since we've been together, but I know you guys used to, like, meet up and, like, you'd all get together, like, when we lived in California to do your draft, like, have you ever, like, done any of those, the trips and seen, like, TikTok and stuff?
No trips. No trips I've ever done. I just don't think fantasy's worth it that much to do a trip. I think it's very cool and like people if they have other things planned around it, it's very awesome. But for me personally, like it was usually my family or something like that, we'd go do it. And now everything's online. It's so
Mhm.
easy to do. But like when you have your family and everybody there, it's easy. Everybody lives around this area. Let's all come here, we'll go do this. But it takes a lot of time and costs a lot of money to go travel and do stuff like
How do
that.
people do fantasy when it wasn't online?
It was all hand paper. You put it on a
Shut up.
wall. Yeah, that's how we used to do it. You basically have a 100 by 100 draft board or whatever, and then you just go ahead and take a sticky note and you draft it,
That is so
draft
much
it.
dedication.
Even before that, you used to have to track it in pen and paper, and then it'd be like a turn-in thing. Yeah, fantasies came a long way.
Oh my god. See, and I used to think that, like, because obviously I didn't understand how fun it was last year, and, like and I wasn't invested as much because they were your teams, but, like, now that I have my own team, I'm very invested. But, like, I mean, it really is time consuming, especially because like, you'll have several teams and, like, I feel like as guys, like, we try a lot harder than, like, my family, it's all, like, people are trying to figure out what the fuck they're actually even doing or what fantasy even is. But, like, I can't even imagine how much time that would have taken, like, hand doing everything. Did you have to, like, track all the points
Oh,
too?
I didn't do it that way. By the
Okay,
time I was old enough, it was a little bit more easier,
that's
like with the computer and stuff. But we'd still do the draft. You would do an in-person draft.
that's crazy. Well, maybe I'm gonna have to get a team with my girlfriends next year, and we're gonna do a trip, our little
Sounds
draft
good.
trip. I'm gonna have everybody to Vegas, and we're gonna go have our like,
You
have you
said
seen
a
the
trip and
TikToks?
have everyone in Vegas. That's not a trip for that's a trip for everyone but you.
Yeah, but, like, Vegas is fun because I feel like I watch all the trips and everybody comes here because then they can also bet.
Vegas, Nashville, some of the big cities probably would be the best place to do it.
Yeah, maybe we'll do, like, a co-ed draft with our friends, and we'll do a big trip. Have you seen this on TikTok?
No.
Oh my gosh, people, like guys will, like, they're very serious about it. So, like, for, like, their draft, they'll go take a trip do, like, a big boys trip to Vegas and stuff. Like, I even saw, like, on some of my flights, in September, was it September? Where was I going? And there was a group of guys, like, on my plane that were, like, all coming for, like, their fantasy draft.
Oh yeah, yeah, I've seen like the draft parties. I thought you were talking about a co-head something, but yeah, yeah, they all get together. Some guys will do it as like a golf trip, and they'll do their fantasy on like one of the days too, or whatnot. But
It's so funny.
yeah,
And I wish that girls had more things like that. I will say, though, I feel like Love Island is kind of similar where, like
you have girls trips, girls trips.
but no, but, like, something like we're all doing. Like, I feel like there
They
used
have
to be a
other
bachelor.
fantasies. I remember your friend mentioned that she did a drag queen fantasy. They have other
Yeah.
fantasies that you could probably do. I know they have like baseball and stuff like that, but I'm sure there's other things that you can make a fantasy league out of. I
Well,
mean,
people used to do Bachelor, but I feel like nobody watches that anymore. But even, like, Love Island, I feel like it's kind of something similar where people get into it and they're all watching together. Like, we love watching Love I well,
last season was way better than the this one that just happened.
yeah, because now everybody's like, they just wanna be influencers and stuff, and it's so
Yeah,
fucking annoying.
they're all frauds.
But it's funny because I will say, I do feel like the more I've gotten into football, the more I realize the parallels for any guys who are haters of pop culture. I just have to say, you were one of them, and there is so much pop culture drama in football. There is, like, team drama, player drama. There's a lot of it.
And well, yeah, it's just like anything else in normal life. Like you're gonna have drama, you're gonna have people who are gonna be upset with each other and everything like that. You get 80 men with testosterone running around a football field, and times that by two with two teams, you're gonna have a lot of problems. You know,
So what's, like, the latest drama going on in the football world?
I mean, Mark Sanchez just got stabbed by that guy. I think he was drunk. He was supposed to go commentate the Colts game, I think, and I think he got a little bit too much drunk and went after a guy, and the guy ended up stabbing him in defense. And
And he was a
there's your
player,
drama.
right?
What?
He was a
Yeah, he
player.
was a quarterback, and now he's a commentator.
Not anymore.
Commentator, or he was on ESPN, or some sort of something that he would go live and talk about the
Well,
games
I think he was being
too.
charged with a felony now, right?
Yeah.
I thought I saw, like, a
So
notification.
there's your tea.
But that's I mean, even and it's funny because I feel like when Taylor Swift came around, Teddy was so excited. He was like he had his Swiftie jersey, like his Travis Kelce jersey, he was so excited.
I got my wig too.
His blonde wig. But, like, I do feel like it brought, like, a lot more, obviously, attention from girls onto football, which is ironic because now I feel like you don't even see her anywhere. Like, they never flash to her.
Yeah.
Did they today at all?
No, they don't.
They
Maybe
should
they
there,
did
but
today. I don't know. But she's also probably busy. She has life stuff too. I think it's all big. And, you know, when anything happens in the first part of it, everyone's so excited. Oh my God. Oh my
Mhm.
God. But now, look, I think they're engaged now and stuff like that. It's like she's going to have her life stuff. She's not in the honeymoon phase of her relationship anymore either. So she's probably not going to go to every game.
Yeah. But I feel like that also kind of because a lot more girls were watching, like, I'd see these TikToks of girls like, "Okay, now here's, like, the latest tea going on with the football world," and I mean, there's, like, disputes between players, I feel, there's, like, even, like, rivalries, like, on the field, like, they'll talk shit to each other, there's, like, crazy stuff that
There's
happens.
stuff that goes on all the time. I mean, there's more stuff that we don't even see, you know, on the media that goes on.
Mhm,
Like, I mean, you get everything. I mean, you think about it, there's so many people in the NFL and so many walks of life that you're going to see a little bit of everything.
mhm.
Some good and some bad. It's just how everything is.
Yeah. Well, and then you also get, like, all the wives and girlfriends of, like, all the players and stuff, and I feel like they get together, like, who just had a baby. Christian McCaffrey, what's his
I didn't
wife?
even know. See, that's not pop culture.
Olivia Culpo.
See, that's pop culture. That's not football.
No, but Christian McCaffrey had a baby.
Yeah, but no one is
That is
watching
pop
football
culture
and thinking
and
about him
sports.
having a kid.
Absolutely they are.
But
They talk
it
about
does
it.
put two and two together, yes, because it's pop culture and sports. And I think now with media, you see how media is blown up so much that football, you see it more everywhere. You see baseball more. You see all these sports. They'll market it as much as they can to get anybody. You know, it's like the whole Taylor Swift thing. When Taylor Swift came in NFL, it wasn't like, oh, cool, Taylor Swift's here. No, how much money can we make around it and
Mhm.
bring people in. And
Yeah.
like you said, you have all the females or all people that are foreign that listen to Taylor Swift that don't know much football because it's an
Mhm.
American sport. They come and they're like, oh wow, football, and it does bring a lot of people. It's good. Like I think Taylor Swift coming around, football is good. Everything's good.
Mhm.
Just being in the media and having more people involved in it. It's just like anything. You get a business and more people are involved in the business, more people go into the business, things tend to grow.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting too because now you get to actually know, like, the players more too with, like, social media, and now you have all, like, documentaries, which is kind of like Real Housewives if you think about it, like
Because when I was a kid, I think the biggest thing you missed watching sports, like I remember like after an Angels game, mainly the Angels because I watched a lot of baseball, but it's like what do these players do outside of like when you see them on TV? Like you don't get to see like do they go home? Like I'm a kid, so do they go home? Do they have a family? Do they go out? Do they go eat? Like what do they eat? Like do they go to the grocery store? There's
They
so
play
many
video
questions that you
games.
used to have as a kid when I was, 10 years old. Now in this day and age, you're a 10-year-old, you probably know what any player's doing and you just go on social media and find out what he's doing or what he did bad.
Mhm.
But it's just crazy that, like you said, you never know what these people are going to do, but now you can kind of live with them.
Yeah. Are there ever, like 'cause I feel and this is something I actually don't really know, like, 'cause I feel like in, obviously, Real Housewives and pop culture, there's a lot of, cancellation and people digging up old, like, tweets and stuff, and that really does have, like, ramifications for, like, their spot on the show or just, like, their brand deals and stuff. Does that stuff happen in sports?
100%. One of the best coaches that is not coaching right now used to coach for the Raiders, John Gruden. He went back to his old messages maybe 8 years ago, 10 years ago,
Mhm.
and he said something. I don't remember exactly off the top of my head, but it was enough for people to look at it and be pressured to get fired. He got fired. Now he signed a $3 million with Barstool, and he's on his way back to come back to be a coach. I think some of that cancel stuff has happened,
Mhm.
and it's going to happen. But people live and learn. And like, does that guy deserve to have his rest of his life not around football because of one thing he might have sent an email 8 years ago that whoever has that email, should they even have that email?
Mhm.
But he shouldn't even say it at the same time. But I think that you're going to have that. It's just like anything else in the world. You're going to have
Mhm.
people canceled for certain things or people do things. Like in the NFL, you used to be able to like fake a gun, like you had a gun, like a handgun, like a gun.
Mhm.
And now you can't do any gun gestures or anything like that. So it's
Oh,
just
that's
like, which
interesting.
when you have kids watching, you don't want that anyways. But at the same time, it's
Especially with,
like,
like, how much happens.
at my day and age and me watching football and I see guns like right now, if I saw somebody like, oh, like this, like, okay, like it's a joke, but at the same time now with so much stuff going on in this world, you can't joke about those things.
Yeah.
It's not a joking matter anymore.
Mhm. Are there, like does it happen with players as much? Because I feel like I could see with coaches where they're like, "Okay, let's cancel them, like, make an example out of them," and it doesn't maybe matter as much, but, like, let's say it was, like, a Patrick Mahomes that had, like, some crazy tweets or the Caleb Williams, like, would one of them, do you think, like
I think that you do have that, but you also have players. I think players stand up more for themselves than coaches would sometimes because you can look at it as I'm not going to use an example or anything, but Brock Purdy is a Christian and he has his beliefs.
Mhm.
And there was something that was portrayed to the 49ers and he stepped up and said, "Hey, I don't believe in this, so I don't want to do this." So are they going to say, "No, I can't. You can't have that guy"? No, but at the end of the day, he's going to do what he wants, and I think that players at the end of the day will back themselves up more than a coach to lose his job because a player knows what he's worth, and if the coach doesn't like him there or whatever his view is, then he can go to another team. I also don't think it's right if you look at somebody for whatever views they have. Like everyone's equal in this day and age.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, and I think that is, like it is hard too, because I think sometimes, like especially with sports, like, you're there to, like, watch sports, and people should be able to have, like, their own private beliefs and,
Mhm.
as long as they're not, like, hurting or harming other people. But the cancellation stuff is just interesting because I do feel like it runs very rampant in, like, pop culture, and obviously it does and can happen in sports. I do feel like, though, it almost takes, like, a little bit more in sports because I mean, let's say it was like a quarterback right there. That's like they're crucial to the team. And if they're, several weeks in and they have like they've, been winning or whatever else, like it'd be a lot harder for that person to cancel than like some, random person Vanderpump Rules or something,
A 100%. I agree with you. It's like why you see ESPN commentators, they'll sometimes get canned, but like you're not going to go take your starting quarterback unless he says something crazy. Like, there's definitely a fine line of what you can and can't or shouldn't say and
Mhm.
just like morally right.
Yeah.
And like as long as they're not saying something that's immorally right or if that's the right word, I don't see a problem. You're not going to just take your player that you're paying $60 million a year off the
Mhm.
field.
Yeah. Well, and I do think, like, to your point, like, I think that there's also, learning your lesson and
Mhm.
understanding things that aren't right, especially as I do think that's, like, the good thing with the internet. There's, like, so much more awareness about certain things and, like, giving people the opportunity to learn from some things or ignorance that they might have, and then being able to kinda work their way back, like, maybe that coach or, depending on kind of, like, what was said or if it was, like, a pattern or, like, treating people wrong or, whatever it is. But it is funny just, like, looking at the parallels, and the more I've gotten into sports, the more I do see the parallels between, like, pop culture, reality TV, and in the sports world. I know you hate to hear that, but I truly think, like, there's some drama that happens. You have the wives, you have the girlfriends, you have, like, new relationships, you have rivalry. Like, there is actually quite a bit of tea to be had in sports, and it really is fun. Like, I think that it's almost like the holidays where football season is something where everybody's getting into it. Everybody's watching football. Everybody has their teams, and you can go out to a bar, and everybody's kinda doing the same thing, and I feel like that's just, like, what makes it fun. It's like a whole community, and I really like, seriously, I'd be so down to have even my girlfriends do a fantasy team, and I think that those kinds of things just, like, add a little pizzazz to life, and make it a little bit more fun, and also the more you watch, obviously, the more you start to learn. Like, I understand all the calls a lot more and, all that, and even just, like, swapping players out, then you learn the players, you learn all that kind of stuff. So I think it can be really interesting and fun, and also, like, I feel like we've gotten closer the more that I've started being able to learn about football and, like, actually get excited for it and not dread having to watch every fucking
Hey, you
game at
want to
the
go
same
watch football?
time.
Yeah, I guess so.
See, and I'd like it, but then it was like, okay, so we watched football Monday, now we're watching it Thursday, okay, those are just one game, but then Saturday we have college, then there's some Friday, right? College football Friday. And then we have Sunday with, like, all day watching football, and see, I grew up where we always watched the Seahawks, but we did not watch, like, other games, and, like, your family, like, we watched all Sunday and, and most of the games too, like, when I was over there and stuff, but yeah, no, we watch every single game. Or we're tracking it if we're not watching it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's just kind of how it is. I mean, it's kind of like a culture at, like everyone gets together to do something, or hey, you know what? You go to work on Monday after Sunday and something ridiculous happened. I don't care if you're a girl, a boy, whatever. You are going to probably talk about something going on with football
Mm.
around this time.
Yeah. No, I think it makes it fun, and I think that, like, again, it's, just even, like, I get involved into, like, sports season, like, you get involved into Love Island. They're just little things that, like, give you something to talk about and just make life a little bit more fun. Like, you can make, like, good food now. It's getting cooler outside. We can start making our chili and stuff, and if it's legal in your area, you can also, like, bet on the games. I think that's also kind of fun. I think obviously, like, within reason, but it just I don't know, it just makes it fun, something to do, and I feel like that's what's made like, even when I travel, it's something that we still have in common and we can chat about, or, like, we'll watch, the games together, like, we'll be on the phone together watching the games, which makes it fun, but well, anything else to add about fantasy football in general? Anything any of the girlies need to know?
No, get out there and get your fantasy team next year.
Yeah, no, honestly, you could really impress, your partner, brother, friends, whatever it is.
Future partner.
Yeah, exactly. You get in there and you draft your fantasy team, and if you need pointers, ask your fucking grandma because she's kicking everybody's ass in our league. And my team's actually supposed to do pretty well, but I feel like it really, has been very mediocre.
Oh, and injuries kill everybody. So
Yeah. Well, and then if you have, like, injuries and you have to put them on your bench, like, I have, like, I have somebody that's, like, really good, but he's injured.
Aaron Jones,
Yeah, and he doesn't come back until, I think.
2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, but I was like, I don't wanna Teddy goes, "Maybe you should just drop him." I'm like, "No, I know your slimy little ass is gonna try to go pick him up." Don't even say you wouldn't, because you know you
That
would.
guy stinks. Just drop him.
And then 'cause yeah, like, I have him on my bench. I think I have a couple people. Jaden Daniels is injured, and then, was Warren injured? London? One of them was injured.
I'd have to look at your team.
I remember. It really affected my score, and I lost. Did I lose to you, or did I beat you?
I think I beat you.
That doesn't ring a bell. I must have beat you.
No, I don't think so.
Well, we'll keep you guys posted on the status of our fantasy league with my family. I am planning to win and kick my grandma's ass. So grandma, I'm coming for you, girlfriend. But thank you guys for tuning in today. If you guys have any other questions about football, any of the things, if you want, Teddy to update us with all the tea, stays abreast, pop culture, big reality TV guy. He knows all the football drama, all the things. So thank you for joining us today. Thank you for explaining to all of us girls all the football things as well.
No problem. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Of course. Don't forget to subscribe, like, rate, all the things of the podcast, share with a friend if you found it helpful. Get into a fantasy team next year. And if you have any other ideas for things that we could, like, make fantasy teams of, whether that's, I don't know, Bachelor, it's like super boring these days. I just feel like, I don't know. It's like everyone wants to be an influencer, but if there's other things, maybe we could figure it out with Love Island.
Yeah, maybe there's got to be something.
Yeah, we'll find some viewing parties, some fantasy, something that we can
We'll let
do.
you be the creator of that.
I'm gonna do that. I am. I really turns out I truly like fantasy. I really like winning also. I'm very competitive, so it keeps it fun. But thank you for joining us today, and it is now 10:30, so we should probably log off. We still have to go to the gym. Thank you.
Thank you guys. Have a good one.
Chat with you next week.